The word transparency means see through, simply nothing to hide. It's an important word for our next inductee who has strived for many years to bring honesty and clarity to boxing through his organization. He was born in New York City in 1942. As a youngster, he loved going to see live boxing shows at places like Sunnyside Gardens, and he'd also watch the fights on TV with his dad every Friday night. He would graduate from Queens College in 1964, earning a law degree at Syracuse University in 1967. He moved to Miami in '67 and practiced law all the way to 2008. In 1983, in addition to his law duties, he was recruited to work as a judge, not in law, but in boxing. He soon found out, and a lot of others did too, that he was quite good at it. He then found himself judging not only in the state of Florida, but internationally. In 1988, he agreed to join the fledgling WBO as a founder and chairman of the Championship Committee. In 1999, Florida Boxing Hall of Famer John Dodano invited him to join the IBO, International Boxing Organization, where he currently served as president. He's overseen hundreds of title fights. If you ask him what he's most proud of, though, with his time with the IBO, he'd say no litigation, no agenda, just transparency. He's also proud of the IBO becoming the first organization in boxing to use computer rankings. Honesty and integrity have been his hallmark as IBO president. Those principles have carried him well to where he is today. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame, class of 2014, IBO President Ed Levine.
There seems to be a common theme here today. Much of what I wanted to say has been said by some of the other inductees. That theme is your father. Last Sunday was Father's Day, and Father's Day is always very emotional to me. I lost my father when I was 13 years old, and the memories I have center around the 5 or 6 years before he passed away, which were very close years between us. One of the highlights of those years, every Friday night, was boxing, Friday night fights, Gillette boxing on Friday nights. And that was a time when we could share just a lot of talking about boxing. My father was an absolute boxing fan. He told me during those years about boxers being the most special athletes in the world. Not only were they great athletes, he used to remind me, but they had something that most other great athletes didn't have to have, and that's courage. Great athletes in other sports they don't step into a ring mano a mano and put their whole lives at stake. And I remember that. He also told me that he used to feel very upset that boxers many times got the short end of the deal. He would look at a great champion and then tell me about their past and how they deserved more and deserved a better shake. And then my other memories with my father were going to Madison Square Garden, as Bob said, and going to Sunnyside Garden. And the first time he took me to a live boxing show, I remember distinctly looking at the fighters for the first time in person and being totally captured by this sport. It was an affliction falling in love with boxing. Everybody here knows what I'm talking about. Boxing is a wonderful affliction. Once you have the disease of boxing in you, you can never get rid of it. It's with you the rest of your life. And it's a trip that we've all enjoyed. I know that. When I was practicing law, I'd get a phone call from an important client, and I'd be interrupted by the receptionist to say, you have a call on another line. It's a trainer who wants to talk to you. Well, I would put the important client on hold and talk to the trainer, because I'd much rather talk about boxing than law. Some other memories I have that I just want to pass on, and everybody's been mentioning tonight, but it's so true. The important people that you meet in boxing, such as Don Hazelton, Ramiro Ortiz, they're such a different mode of people in boxing. The friendship and the camaraderie that we feel here tonight, you don't find it many other places, no matter what your walk in life takes you to. So I'm thankful for that. Boxing has been a great trip for me, and this is one of the highlights of that trip, made even more memorable by the presence of both of my sons, Jeremy and Jason, who are with me. And I hope that they continue on in this sport and bring more good things to the sport. And just in closing, just for a very important thing to me in this sport is to do, the IBO is more than just a boxing sanctioning body. It's a passion that I have. Forming the IBO was not just to bring another sanctioning body onto the scene. There are enough sanctioning bodies. The purpose of bringing the IBO onto the scene was to bring something different to the stage, and that is integrity, professionalism, and courage. Courage to do something different. We may not get the same traction as some of the other sanctioning bodies, but we keep trying. And we will always be transparent. We will always do the right thing for the boxers. And in that regard, I also want to thank Jimmy Resnick, who got me started. And I also want to thank John Dodano for giving me the leeway to administer the IBO the way I have and will continue to. Thank you all. Thank Butch, Kathy. It's been a wonderful weekend, and I hope you all have a great time.